Hello, this is Jamie from Shamrock Girl World, and today I'm going to talk about this awesome and sweet fruit called the persimmon. In this video, I'm going to talk about and compare 4 different varieties of persimmons. I'm also going to talk about where you can find them and how much they cost. And lastly, I'm going to show you how you can enjoy this tasty fruit. So, what is a persimmon? Persimmons can be characterized as large, orange, round, or acorn-shaped fruit that are cultivated and produced in many Asian countries, such as China, South Korea, and Japan. Persimmons can also be grown in most areas of the United States, for it is a cold-tolerant fruit tree. Main characteristics of a persimmon is that it has thin, orange, edible skin. The skin color gets darker as the fruit ripens. On the inside of the fruit, it has soft or firm orange flesh. Some can be fibrous while others can be gel-like. Persimmons have tear-shaped brown seeds, and many store-bought varieties are seedless, or they may contain 1 or 2 seeds in the fruit. And other varieties are loaded with the firm seeds. Most varieties of persimmons are ripe during the fall and winter months. You can see them as early as August through the end of February. And the peak season for persimmons is during the months of November and December. The taste can be described as being honey-like. Think about eating an apple that is as sweet as honey. And there are many health benefits from persimmons. They're full of fiber, they contain beta-carotene, as well as magnesium and vitamin C. There are 2 main categories of persimmon, and each will depend on how and when you can eat and enjoy the fruit. And they are astringent persimmons and non-astringent persimmons. Astringent persimmons means that the fruit contains a high amount of a chemical called tannin, which causes a bitter, chalky, lip-puckering taste in the unripe persimmons. Tannin is centered in the core of the fruit, and tannin levels lower as the fruit ripens. Astringent persimmons must be eaten when they are very soft or mushy. The persimmons can also turn a darker orange as they ripen. And a good way to tell that a persimmon is ripe is when the skin wrinkles and gives easily when pressed. There are several varieties of astringent persimmons. Our first example is the hachiya persimmon. They are large, acorn or heart-shaped persimmons, and they have sweet, jelly-like flesh when it's soft, and the flesh of the fruit melts in your mouth. I tend to find this variety in Asian markets. The prices that I've seen are as low as $1.29 a pound to as high as $1.79 a pound, and it usually depends on which Asian market I'm at. And it may also depend on the time of the season. Hachiyas are the largest persimmon variety. Next we have is the American persimmon, which is also known as the common or eastern persimmon. This type is native to the United States. It can be grown in states on the East Coast all the way through the South. It can actually be grown in hardiness zones 4 through 9. Some varieties of Asian persimmons may contain seeds. This example of American persimmon actually came from our family tree here in Central Texas. We really enjoy our persimmon tree, and we can't wait to have fresh, homegrown persimmons each year. We've had this tree since at least 2010. I was fortunate to find pictures of it when it was about 6 to 7 feet tall. It bore fruit at that size, and young trees can bear easily and faster compared to other fruit trees. Now, in 2019, it is 15 to 20 feet tall. It is such a beautiful tree when the fruit is orange and ripening. It's a pretty hardy tree that has never been pruned, and it has little threat of disease. In this example, we've harvested the low-hanging fruit from the tree. We usually have to put plastic mesh on the tree because birds, wasps, beetles, and even our chickens love the ripe fruit. I always love treating our chickens with ripe fruit from the trees. Another variety of astringent persimmon is the Tamopan Asian persimmon. This unique-looking persimmon looks like a squashed muffin. It looks similar to a non-astringent variety of persimmon called the fuyu, which we'll talk about in a little bit. There's also the Taninashi Asian persimmon. This variety looks similar to the hachiya, but it's not as pointed in the bottom. It's a sweet variety that is grown in warmer climates such as mid to south United States, and it's also grown here in Texas as well as Florida. Lastly, we have the Use Persimmon, which is a small, round, pointed persimmon. The next category of persimmons are the non-astringent persimmons. These persimmons can be eaten when they are hard or soft. They have 0 or less tannin than the astringent varieties. And because they are not required to be soft in order to be eaten, they have a long shelf life. The first example of a non-astringent persimmon is the fuyu. This is a very common small persimmon variety. It's characterized as having a flat bottom or a flat pumpkin shape, and it can also have a quartered appearance. This variety of persimmon is available more throughout the year. The price on this fruit depends on the location where you're at, as well as the store that's selling it. Asian markets tend to sell a little bit cheaper at 79 cents a pound to as high as $2.99 a pound. Chain stores such as here in Texas, we have H-E-B and Central Market, as well as Whole Foods or Walmart. They may sell the fruit as $1.98 to $2.98 for each fruit. I call this the beginner persimmon. Although it's not as sweet as the other varieties when it's firm, you can't go wrong with this variety, and it's the variety that people will likely see. Next example that we have is the cinnamon persimmon. This variety is similar to the hachiya, and it's actually a distant cultivar of it. It's a light orange, large, round fruit with cinnamon-like brown specks in the flesh. It's sweeter than the fuyu, but not as sweet as the hachiya. But it does have its own unique flavor, and it's a new favorite of mine. I lucked out and found this variety at a Central Market for $1.98 each fruit. I cringed a little at the price, but it was my first time seeing and trying this variety. Another non-astringent variety is the chocolate persimmon. This persimmon has a rich orange color and dark colored flesh that is centered around the seeds. I personally have not tried this variety, but I've heard that a local park has planted some, so I may be able to try this one in the future. Another variety of non-astringent is the coffee cake persimmon. It's pretty similar to the chocolate persimmon variety, and it has brown flesh when it's ripe. Another different variety of persimmon is the Texas persimmon. These are found in West Texas and in New Mexico, and they can be found in the northern states of Mexico. These small persimmons are black and round. They turn from purple to black when ripened, and they have the consistency of chocolate pudding. I personally have not seen or sampled this variety, but I'll be on the lookout. So where can you find persimmons? Persimmons are commonly available during the fall and winter months, and some varieties may be available throughout the year, depending on where you are. I tend to have better luck finding these at Asian markets. They may carry the fuyu and hachiya varieties, while chain stores will likely sell the fuyu. As for the cost of persimmons, these may be the most unpredictably priced fruit that I come across. Sometimes I buy a bunch, and other times I'm turned away at the price. It really depends if the price is per pound or per each fruit. It really depends on your location in the country, what store you're at, and during the time of the persimmon season. So how do you select a persimmon? Persimmons should be completely orange. They should never be green. They should be evenly orange, and shades of yellow are acceptable for non-astringent varieties. Do not select firm persimmons with cuts. Soft ripe persimmons may fall apart, but make sure to just clean it and make sure that it's intact, especially if you've already bought the fruit. Some varieties of persimmons may have black spots or black marks on the skin. This is also common in the hachiya variety. This is completely normal, and it will not affect the quality of the fruit. Persimmons in general aren't problematic when it comes to the quality. So how do you use a persimmon? Remember, depending on whether the persimmon is astringent or not, depends on when you can eat the fruit. Persimmons on their own can stay hard or firm for several weeks, and they can ripen on their own at room temperature. But if you have an astringent variety, you can speed up the ripening process. All you have to do is stick an apple with the persimmon in a paper bag. Apples release ethylene gas, which speeds up the ripening process. This also works for peaches, zapotes, bananas, and avocados, to name a few. A sign that a persimmon is ripe is that the stem of the fruit pulls off easily and a piece of the core comes out. The persimmon should also be a dark orange color and gives when pressed. You should always refrigerate ripe persimmons. My favorite thing to do with persimmons is to eat them fresh. You can eat them just like an apple, you can slice them up and eat them just like a tomato. Just be aware of the hard brown seeds that are inside. You can make jams and jellies out of them, preserves, you can make pies and other pastries. Also, if you have whole fruit, you can dehydrate them. And you can also purchase dehydrated persimmons in Asian markets. Persimmons are such a great fruit, and each variety of persimmons have their own characteristics and flavors. So be on the lookout for persimmons in your local area. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment down below if you've ever tried or grow your own persimmons and which variety you like. I also plan on creating a video that will take a closer look at our American Persimmon Tree. And don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel and ring the notification bell for more videos about exotic fruits, growing exotic fruits, gardening, outdoor crafts, and more. Thank you.